Hey everyone, John Hayden and Gregg Shapiro from Out South Florida. We are hanging out and we're going over our favorite holiday movies. Don't get it twisted. This is all about us. All of it is about us. These aren't five movies that you have never heard of but need to see. This isn't the most artistic films from France and Italy dealing with the holidays. No, these are the movies that we like to watch. You've probably seen some, but maybe this will make you want to revisit them. Or like when I got Greg's list, there were a couple I hadn't heard of, and so you'll get to discover a couple. I know, Greg. Yeah, we're going to get into that. So let's go. So we got our 12 favorite holiday movies ranked in no particular order until we get to Christmas Eve. So let's start with number 12. Greg, kick us off.
Okay, number 12, The Family Stone from 2005. The Family Stone is a personal and sentimental favorite of mine for many reasons. Gay writer and director Thomas Bazooka's first movie, 2000's Big Eden, is one of my all-time favorite movies. In The Family Stone, Diane Keaton plays the mom of a gay son. The gay son, played by Tyrone Giordano, and his partner, played by Brian White, are in the process of adopting a child. SJP, we all know who SJP is, longtime friend of the queer community, gives an admirable and sort of unexpected performance. Dermot Mulroney played gay in 1989's longtime companion. He's a love interest in this. Claire Danes had a gay best friend, played by actor Wilson Cruz in My So-Called Life. And last but not least, a reason to love this movie is Luke Wilson's basket and the gray sweatpants in the scene when he's talking to SJP. So despite its low rating on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's a finely executed Christmas comedy tearjerker. I recommend it.
What about it gives you the feels?
Oh my God, it's very emotional. I mean, the mom, I'm going to give this away, but the Diane Keaton character has cancer, which has returned, and yes, it's very heartbreaking. And then there's all sorts of like romantic mishaps and kookiness. And so, yes, and it's all happening at Christmas time. It's another one of those, there's a lot of these on this list where a new person is brought into a family to celebrate the holiday. And what could possibly go wrong?
Well, not a thing, but I think I should still watch the movie and find out.
You've never seen it?
I haven't, no.
Oh, I have a box of tissue nearby, and not just because of Luke Wilson and the gray sweatpants.
Oh, I just love Luke Wilson. I love Luke Wilson, and if I could have him and his brother stuffed in Owen stuffed into my stockings on Christmas morning, I would not complain. All right. Now, one of the reasons why we're calling it a holiday movie is because, of course, Christmas is far from the only thing that people are celebrating this time of year. My first pick, number 11, is 2003's Comedy Central production of The Hebrew Hammer. It's gotten a cult classic. The Hammer, played by Adam Goldberg, patrols the neighborhoods, making sure the kids keep it kosher. At Hanukkah, Santa's evil son, played by Andy Dick, as basically just being Andy Dick in a red suit. The film ruthlessly tackles holiday traditions and contradictions in a hilariously yet lovingly way. I laughed as hard today as I did when I first saw the movie 21 years ago. And my favorite quote from The Hebrew Hammer is, "Shabbat Shalom, motherfuckers." So fun to watch.
Where do you think they borrowed the motherfucker part from? Where do you think
I don't know. I mean, we might hear a similar line later in the list.
Thinking, yeah. Okay, I have never seen The Hebrew Hammer.
Oh, do you still have a DVD player?
Of course I do. Yes, okay. I have 10,000 DVDs. Yes,
I will loan you my copy of The Hammer,
and I'll loan you my copy of The Family Stone.
Sounds perfect. Okay. All right, moving on. Number 10, Greg.
Yes, now I'm gonna just grab my script and the page here, and here we go. Number 10 is Make the Yuletide Gay. So it's Rob Johnson's queer Christmas movie wears its humor on its down jacket sleeve. Beginning with the pun of the title, 16 years after its release, it holds up pretty well. And that's not just because of the performances by the cute lead actors, Keith Jordan and Adamo Ruggiero. The Wisconsin accents, especially those of main character Olaf Gunnarson's parents, Anya and Sven, are accurate and priceless. The transformation of next door neighbor Abby from prim and proper to old fashioned fag hag is well played. And Allison Arngrim from Little House on the Prairie playing Abby's loose mother Heather is a very nice twist. Olaf's Trump commentary about America's inherently meaningless political environment and stuff like that. He does a rant about, reality TV. All that stuff still holds up. The movie is unabashedly corny, but it's again, it's Christmas. It's Wisconsin, don't you know? And I think it's really fun. And so that's my number 11.
Oh, okay. I have to wonder, what is it about like those northern states at winter that snow and then on the trees and it always looks perfect and people are like, well, that's just the movies. No, that's actually how it looks. But the thing is, by January 2nd, all the snow is gray from cars driving by,
and yellow from dog pee,
and it's just cold, and you're like, well, at least the new snow will cover up the ugly old snow. But that said, there's a great movie just to cuddle up with under a blanket, if you've got somebody else who's making your Yuletide gay.
Absolutely, I recommend it. It's really silly, funny, and Christmassy.
All right, at number 9, that's my selection. You notice I have the odd selections. Strictly coincidence. At number 9, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 1989. The lasting endurance of this movie is because it is so incredibly relatable. Anyone who's ever hosted or stayed with family over the holidays has experienced crazy in-laws, crazy aunts, and unattainable expectations. In this installment of the franchise, Clark Griswold, still played by Chevy Chase, wants to make everyone happy. Ergo, the aforementioned unattainable goals. Of course, this makes no one happy. Everything that can go wrong does. And it takes a kidnapping to bring everyone together and resolve the situation, much like at the end of the original National Lampoon's Vacation, where they take John Candy hostage in Wally World Fun Park. So, this movie it takes me back. It was like, came out when I was in high school. So I just love it for that. We watched it on a loop practically when I was in college with my roommate, Brent, and his wonderful girlfriend, now wife, Candy. We just had a great time with it. We can recite all the lines. But my favorite line from the film is, Eddie, if I woke up in the morning with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now. What a great film. And shout out real quick to Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who plays the persnickety, too cool for school next door neighbor. And in that character, you start to see little sprouts of Elaine Bettis, who was just beginning, and her Veep character, Vice President and President Selena Meyer. You start to see those coming out. So that's an extra little Easter egg to look for when you watch the film.
Well, I think it's interesting because get my script here, because I think that he was also an SNL person, as was Chevy Chase. So that's why I think it's perfect to be following a Chevy Chase Christmas movie with a Bill Murray Christmas movie.
Bring it on, sir.
To be perfectly honest, Scrooged from 1988, directed by Richard Donner, it doesn't hold up as well as I had hoped. It kind of pales in comparison to Murray's later exceptional work with Wes Anderson, those many films he made with him, and as well as his Oscar-nominated performance in Sofia Coppola's Lost in Translation. But here's why I still dig Scrooged. You get to see little Carol Kane as the ghost of Christmas Present kick Bill Murray's ass and also kick him in the balls. David Johansen from cross-dressing glam rock band, the New York Dolls, he plays the ghost of Christmas Present. underrated out gay actor John Glover plays Bill Murray's nemesis in the movie, and Annie Lennox and Al Green perform a duet of Jackie DeShannon's "Put a Little Love in Your Heart." So it's not great, but there's still reasons to watch it.
Back when MTV, the M allegedly stands for music television, they would play that video. Great video. Tells you how long ago that was. But I remember that was like one of those little Christmas songs that became, because every generation gets their own batch of Christmas songs.
Exactly.
In fact, has Taylor Swift released a Christmas album? If she hasn't, she needs to. She's thrown Mariah Carey probably in about 45 minutes.
Do it. Yeah.
but those are just some of the things that I love, the little bits of nostalgia. And you know what? Bill Murray. I
know.
That's the great thing. You don't have to knock it out of the park when you're telling this particular story. It's been told dozens, if not hundreds of times, right, on the big and small screens, plus, from Broadway to small town community theater repertoires. That's the great thing about the franchise. However, we must keep one thing in mind. Marley is dead.
For sure. And Murray does a really good job of putting the dick back into Dickens.
Oh, if this wasn't a family clip, we'd have a few words. All right, number 7. We have to embrace the controversy. So here we go. Sides must be chosen, Greg. And I say Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
I agree.
Aside from the traditional holiday tropes of travel, family reconciliation, and redemption, it also has German terrorists, exploding helicopters, and LA's version of snow skiing. 'Tis the season. While not the traditional holiday fare, it was released in July. It is set at Christmas and gives you all the feels at the beginning and all the feels at the end, with tons of action packed in between. Another reason I love this film, it irritates my mother to no end when I insist that we watch it when we're all gathered for the holiday. She is decidedly not Christmas movie. Best quote from this movie, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
There it is. We have a theme here.
Dude.
Yeah, I have a fear of heights. That's the one that's in the high rise, right?
Nakatomi Plaza.
So, yes, but I appreciate it, and he was Bruce Willis was kind of hot back then.
Oh, he totally was, and this was like his first major movie. The studio didn't even believe in him. He was coming off the success of Moonlight. And he was an unlikely lead actor, but it was totally comedic, and and some of the movie's promotional posters, they didn't even put him in it. They thought that the building would be the star. Now, of course,
really?
I've done lots of junkets and stuff out in LA, so I've been to the Fox building, which is Nakatomi Plaza. Don't worry, the roof is intact. It's structurally sound and still all good to go.
I love special effects. So my next one is Tyler McIntyre's It's a Wonderful Knife.
Yes.
From 2023. It's a horror slasher reimagining of perennial winter holiday favorite, It's a Wonderful Life. It features Justin Long, who has established himself as a cisgender male version of a scream queen, a final girl in a way, in movies such as Jeepers Creepers, Drag Me to Hell, Tusk, and The Amazing Barbarian. Protagonist Winnie, played by non-binary actor Jane Widdop, and classmate Bernie, played by non-binary actor Jess McLeod, team up with Winnie's lesbian aunt. So there's lots of queerness going on here. She's played by Catherine Isabel, and they try and stop the Angel Falls serial killer known as the Angel. How's that for original? Oh. It's a Wonderful Knife, I think, is a welcome addition to the growing genre of Christmas-themed horror movies.
That is so cool. That I believe that's the newest entry.
I think so, yeah.
We haven't gotten to see Red 1 yet, but I do want to see it. It looks... It's got The Rock. Okay, we're not here to review that, but it has an Oscar winner in it. I'll just give it that much. So I love anything, and we talked a little bit about this with Scrooged. It's the thing about It's a Wonderful Life, the source material for the inspiration material for this, is that it's so sappy and over
Mm.
the top that it begs to be made fun of, especially 60, oh my God, 70 years later. So, yeah, and Justin Long, he is just, he has just retained his sweet goofiness well beyond his 20s or even his mid
Oh
30s. So,
he's still kind of weirdly sexy in a way. Yeah, I
oh,
can't take him seriously.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He can be my Christmas candy cane, no problem. All right, up next, number 5, 2003's Elf. This is
Mm.
unquestionably Will Ferrell's greatest character ever. Buddy the Elf's sweet and sincere naivete contrasts perfectly with the cynics of the real world, played at least by James Caan and Peter Dinklage. The film's North Pole is exactly as I imagined it as a child, with the stop motion animatronic, stop motion filming of like Frosty the Snowman, um, uh, Bob Newhart playing Papa Elf, and seeing Will sit on his lap. It's great. Now, this film is unabashedly sappy, sentimental, and tugs on every heartstring, and I'm 100% here for it. Jovi, played beautifully by an emerging Zooey Deschanel, tries to power Santa's sleigh with Christmas spirit. Best quote: "We elves try to stick to the 4 main food groups: candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup."
And it is as sweet and sticky as that. I think it's one of the best Christmas movies, certainly of the last 20 or 30 years. I think it's funny, it's touching, it's got all the parts you need.
It really, and I just laugh. And one of the things about all these films is that they still touch us. I go for things that make me laugh. You've got newer films on here. My criteria sort of is, where was I? How old was I? Where was I in life when these movies came out? And that played a part in my selection. So most of mine are the ones that I've been going to for a few Christmases, because they're what makes me happy. And isn't that what the holidays are all about?
For sure. I think the first Christmas movie I ever saw, because that was not part of my growing up, was Santa Claus versus the Martians, the one with Pia Zadora.
Never
Yeah,
seen it.
that's how old I am. So my next movie is Happiest Season from 2020, directed and co-written by lesbian actor director Clea Duvall. Happiest Season, like Single All the Way, which we're going to talk about shortly, I think it benefits from having someone queer behind the camera because it is such a queer movie. It also helps the cast includes a majority of queer identified actors, including Kristen Stewart, Daniel Levy, Aubrey Plaza, Victor Garber, and Allison Brie, as well as a longtime ally and the sweetest person alive, Mary Steenburgen. So it's got all that stuff. And again, it's kind of formulaic. It's that same thing. Closeted lesbian brings her girlfriend home for the holiday, and she has this conservative family. And what could possibly go wrong again? But regardless, it still manages to succeed. And I think it's a combination of the writing and the acting, and yeah, it's sweet. Small town, all that kind of stuff.
A better version of a Hallmark.
Well, I think it's because it's Hulu and not Hallmark. So I think that might have something to do with it. Sorry, Hallmark.
But yes, but speaking of that, if you have a Hulu subscription, it's out there. They've
Yeah,
rolled
you
it
can
all
still.
out for the holidays, so make sure you check that out. All right, number 3 for me, 1990s Home Alone. This movie made Macaulay Culkin, who played, of course, Kevin McAllister. His Christmas wish comes true when his family forgets to take him on Christmas vacation, and he has the house all to himself. He turns out to be pretty resourceful and a better home protector than an ADT system. Harry and Marv, played by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, haplessly try to burgle the McAllister's home and make for some of the best physical comedy acting ever in a holiday film. I need to take 2 Advil just watching them get concussed one time after another after another. This movie also touches me in a different way. When we were kids, we wanted to be left home and be in charge. Well, now that I'm grown up, I have to say, I wish I had my family back. all of them. Those Christmas Eves at Aunt Joyce's, Christmas mornings at the grandparents. Uh, you miss those. You don't appreciate it when you're a kid. When you're a kid, just give me my space. And now I'm like, oh, please come invade my space.
Well, and of course, the movie also has Catherine O'Hara,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, oh my God. I mean, she's so huge. And I think actually Mac has kind of over the years developed into a pretty decent actor. He was like the perfect child actor, but he kind of developed over the years, and it's really silly and kooky and uh, Chicago suburban and all that stuff. And so yeah, I think it's a good one.
Well, and you mentioned Chicago. John Hughes
Of course,
did
yes.
this one, but Home Alone reunited him with um, John Hughes,
Yeah, right.
Kevin McAllister, Mac, and because they worked together on Uncle Buck a
Right.
couple of years prior, and Macaulay was great in that. So you mentioned Catherine O'Hara; she was given the most iconic line and the best line of the film. Kevin, when you're on a plane realizing you've left your child at home, and I guess you're supposed to feel bad about that. All right, Greg.
Something's missing. So my next one is we previously mentioned Single All the Way, directed by Michael Mayer from 2021. Gay theater and film director Michael Mayer's Single All the Way narrowly avoids the Hallmark Christmas movie trap by being on Netflix. And it also has a decent screenplay by gay writer Chris Hodge and a top-notch cast, including out actors such as hotter than hot Luke McFarlane and Michael Urie. Rocky Horror Picture Show alum Barry Bostwick plays the cool and accepting dad. Longtime ally and gifted comedic actor Kathy Najimy plays the equally cool, accepting mom, and the brilliant Jennifer Coolidge plays wacky Aunt Sally, who, according to her, is loved by the gays as opposed to being killed by them. It's also worth noting that Single All the Way is the second movie from 2021 featuring both Michael Urie and Jennifer Coolidge. The other one was Todd Stevens' brilliant Swan Song. So everything about this one and the romance, the romantic relationship between Michael Urie's character and the boyfriend in the movie, it's a growing thing. It's sweet. Of course, Luke McFarlane is in there, kind of shirtless once in a while. So it, it works perfectly. I like it a lot. I recommend it on Netflix.
You know what I really love about holiday films is that big stars are in on the joke. They come in. These movies don't usually produce a huge payday, but they often produce high profile roles, something that's going to get a lot of ads and stuff, and really kind of boost their profile. Maybe they want to show that they're not just they want to break out and show they can do fun and comedic and stuff like that. And so you really get a lot of I don't want to say nuance, just different performances. People feel comfortable in these story structures to come out and say, you know what, I'm going to try something a little bit different. And I think that's a theme that we've seen over the course of this series that we're doing today.
For sure. Variety. It's all about variety.
Well, finally, we get to number one, and there are two number ones. We each choose the movie that we must watch on Christmas Eve. What's the one when the entire world is dead? There's nothing going on. Uber Eats isn't even delivering. What do we curl up with on the couch under a fleece snowman blanket? So we've each picked our film. Greg, please start us off.
Well, I think it's fascinating that both of our must-watch holiday movies are set in the middle of the previous century. Mine is Carol, directed by gay filmmaker Todd Haynes, based on the novel The Price of Salt by the late queer writer Patricia Highsmith. The titular Carol, a woman on the brink of divorce, is played to perfection by Cate Blanchett. Rooney Mara is Therese Belivet, the ribbon clerk who barely even knows what to order for lunch. But somehow the unlikely pair meet days before Christmas at Frankenberg's department store, where Therese works in the toy department, and Carol is looking for a toy for her daughter and something that she can play with as well. For that matter, it's a case of wrap and send in pretty paper with a bow on top. That is until the men, those men in their lives do what they can to keep them apart. The heat and the chill of the season combine for an incredible, beautiful, unforgettable, and deeply depressing holiday experience.
Well, Merry Christmas. Oh my God, I've got an ornament here that a friend gave me. It says, "Well, happy birthday, Jesus. Sorry your party's so lame."
I want one.
I will get on it. But no, to your point, why did you choose this one? What is it that you and Rick makes you and Rick love to watch this film?
Well, I'm like a borderline depressive, like constantly. So I don't want there to be too much. I don't like to have too much fun at the holidays. And so this is really, I try to keep like a limit on how much fun I have. So
Yeah.
this is the one that brings me back down to earth when I think I'm having too much of a good
So joy to the world in moderation.
time. Precisely.
All right, my Christmas Eve flick is not particularly original, not particularly surprising, but one of my friends said my list was kind of pedestrian. But like I said, these are the movies that I love and that I've been watching for a while. And I don't think there's a better Christmas Eve movie to watch than A Christmas Story, released in 1983. This movie was barely noticed when it was released. It gained a cult following and now plays on a loop over Christmas. It did not have or produce any stars and was bereft of any special effects. This is truly a Christmas story without any distractions. The setting, Northwest Indiana in 1940, is important because the Great Depression was really ending. And it was the last Christmas before America would be dragged into World War II. The middle class finally had the money for an opulent holiday season with lots of toys under the tree, only to have it ripped away by wartime austerity a year later. Adult Ralphie tells the story of the Christmas quest for the Red Ryder BB gun, the nostalgia for toys, schoolyard bullies, snow, frequently flat tires, oh fudge, and bizarre gifts from distant and delusional relatives is still resonating with people today. New generations, old generations, all that. There are too many touchstone moments to list here. Although I will tell you, I do have my
A leg lamp.
a leg lamp Christmas ornament and leg lamp bottle opener, Greg.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, and there's more
where's
stuff.
your leg lamp?
That's with my brother. My brother has the leg lamp at his place in Washington, D.C. So yeah.
And again, we're back in the Midwest, right? Where it's always cold. You can always count on it being cold and snowy in the Midwest.
You can. And I'm very, very excited to get back there and see it. See you, Mom. Best quote from the movie A Christmas Story: "You'll shoot your eye out." My family and I have turned it into a drinking game where you drink every time the old man curses. You drink whenever they say "you'll shoot your eye out." And there's one scene where they say it like 15 times in a row. It's a fun movie, and it always lets me know that the Christmas Bacchanal is about to begin.
Mary, Mary. And I would think Belinda Dillon would be upset if you said that she's not a star.
No,
Belinda
you're right.
Dillon was a star in her own right.
She was, but I'm talking like but if you see her on a marquee poster, you're kind of like, oh, she's the woman from The Thing.
Right.
You know,
you remember? Right.
Whereas like when I pass Brad Pitt at Ralph's when I'm out in LA,
don't pass, just grab.
I know that's Brad Pitt.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Well, Greg, happy holidays to you. Thank you for doing this.
You too. It was a blast. You see our stockings are hung behind me.
Yeah, that's
my stocking, Rick's stocking, and Coco's stocking.
That's not a chimney, though. Does it still count?
Yeah, it counts. In our house, it counts.
Not a lot of chimneys to go down
Not
in
in South
our part of the
Florida.
world in Fort Lauderdale.
No.
Greg,
Merry
happy holidays.
Christmas. You too. Take care.